Hello, this is Stephen from CNOC, and today I'm going to show you how to develop a simple Mendix application and deploy it in using LowOps to private cloud. So first, we're going to start a new application. This is LowOps portal, and you can choose the Mendix template and give it a name, Mendix to do, for instance. And then in a few minutes, LowOps platform will prepare all the needed resources for you to be able to start developing your application. See you in a few minutes. All right, so our application has finished creating, so we can open it up and go to source. Here we can copy the URL to a private repository that is also part of LowOps so that your model is safe in your own infrastructure. So we copy that URL. Now we go to Mendix Studio Pro. I choose sign in later since we don't really need to sign in for this. And we can say open a private app. And in here we paste our URL that we just copied. And now we can check out the application source code. So we continue with this. So we also need to convert our upgrade to Mendix version of this application. All right, so the application has opened in the meantime. So let's commit our changes because there's been a Mendix version update. But we have another problem here. Things errors, so you want to commit. So let's fix those errors first. It says Java 11 not supported anymore, so we'll have to change that to Java 21 and save that. Now we are able to commit and upgrade to Mendix 10.24. You can commit and push. All right, since um, we want to build some functionalities, the best practice is to always start in a feature branch. So we can create a branch line here from the private server, and then we call it a simple to do, for instance. Let's go like that. So you want to open a branch line. All right, first we're going to clean up a few things here that we don't really need. Please bear with me. I don't actually develop Mendix applications that often, so let's might be making some mistakes here to do. I think that's fine. We need to keep an eye on the errors, to fix all the errors. But for now, let's create a very simple model. So we have a entity here, which is a task. And we add an attribute title string, that's fine. description, also a string, and we want to have created date stored. We also want a status attribute, and let's create task status. First one is new in progress. Completed or cancelled. That's fine. And then we can default is a new. So it will be our basic task. If you want, we can also add another one that is like deadline, for instance. It's date and time, localized, stored. Default is not set. So move the deadline bit up. And let's just see. We can generate we can generate an overview page for this. Content layout will be this. There you go. And we need to fix a few issues. So this doesn't exist anymore. So we point it to my new overview. This one also doesn't exist. More. Okay, let's see what's wrong here. Let's first fix this one. Where is the problem? Select the page and page navigation. I believe it's this one. All right, so let's first save our changes for now. Now we need to fix the rows. Okay, so these ones, they don't exist yet. So first we need to create module rows. Let's call it as a user. That's fine. And now we need to remap these essentially. So user goes this one. What does this mean? Okay, I need to edit. That doesn't exist anymore. So we have this user instead. The same here. Edit. That doesn't exist. So in our case, we just want to have one type of user. That's all really matter. All right. Now we have more errors here to fix. Accessible by. So here, select the module row. So we need to fix this one. All right, we have more issues here, which makes sense because we don't have access rules defined. So we create new one for this user. So if the user that the road applies to, we don't really care right now about XPath constraints. This user can create and also delete objects. Um, the default is we just want to make it work for now, so it's give them all the rights. Can check this checkbox. Save. Now our errors are gone, so we can run this locally. Let's try it out. All right, so the app is running. You can click the view app. We can see it here, and I believe the regular login is 1. So we can see our app running locally. So we can create a new task, take dog out for a walk. So we'll have this one, have one, and we can create another one. Cook dinner, and we can, for instance, change the status to a different one, for instance, completed, etc. All right, cool. So we have our application developed now. All right, so now we can commit our changes since we have tested the application locally. And we can write a little message here, basic implementation, basic tasks, management. Then we can commit and push. So now if we will go back to lobes, we can see that soon we will have a um, new package being built. So let's wait for that. Also see there are 2 branches now, simple to do feature and the original main branch. So switch to the simple to do feature branch, we will see that the last commit we just made is visible here. And our package is automatically being built. And I will see you in a few seconds, in a few minutes back. All right, welcome back. After a few minutes, the package, so in this case, the commit of that branch, which is simple to do, has finished building. So we can, for instance, open this up to see things like vulnerabilities, the build log, if you're interested in it. In this case, there's nothing to really see here. No, there's nothing interesting. A little bit more deep dive of vulnerabilities and mm, best practices and unit testing. In our case, we don't have any unit tests in our application, so therefore there are no results. There are some interesting things here. So apparently there are um, the SQL Server library used by the Mendix version that we are using is vulnerable. So therefore, they are being detected here. We're not going to solve that in this video. So leave that to a different for a future video. So we can deploy this package now, but we can't deploy to anywhere yet because there's no environment. So let's create that. So we go back to the application. In the environments, we can create a deployment environment. So let's call it UAT. Let's assume that we're going to have this application tested by our um, users that is in the acceptance phase. And I will see you in a few minutes. So our environment has been provisioned in the meantime, so we can now go back to packages, or we can actually do it from here also. Okay, so deploy, and I can select the package that we want to deploy and configure it where if you want, but we don't. Yeah, we don't have to configure anything. So then we can say you acknowledge it's going to go down while being deployed, so we can uh, do that. And while it's deploying, we can see some of the progress through in the form of activities here that deployment has been initiated. But we can also see it in the logs here. For instance, now they're showing up. The application is being started. So let's see if it will work. It looks like the app is being restarted continuously. Let's see if that's the case. Initializing. Yeah, it looks like the app does not start up correctly, and I happen to know why. In this case, is it requires more CPU, so we will increase that CPU to half a CPU core, and then we can do a redeployment. Yeah, we need to wait until it finishes. Now he's running. So we can now open this application. Now he's running in the cloud or in private cloud, depending on where you have your LowOps instance. And we can find out the admin password here, copy that, and then we can go in here and then we can log in with MX admin. And now we have the same app, but now running, uh, um, yeah, in the cloud, and it can be accessed by others than just yourself. So we can go with project planning, for instance, a task. I can save it here, and we can also, yeah, for instance, restart the application just to show that the state actually gets persisted. So we can go back here to my environment. And I can execute a restart. And then if you refresh this, then we'll see the app becomes available, and then we will be back in a bit. So let's see if it's when he will be back. So he's got shut down, and then he will be back soon. Okay, so he's running. Need to wait a bit, then he will be really available. Started. So this here you can also see some charts of the application being collected, and because the environment is fresh, there's no data before, and now the data is being collected. And let's see if it's, yeah, okay, so the app is now running. We should be, yeah, okay, so now the login page appears because actually the session was still valid, so we are able to, yeah, to see the same data again. The container has restarted, so this proves that the database is being persisted. So thank you very much for your time. This is this is how you can use or use LowOps and deploy Mendix applications, but also other type of applications as you have seen in the beginning. If you're interested, feel free to visit low-ops.com or contact me, drop a message in the comments or contact me on LinkedIn. And see you next time. Bye bye.